Once again, good morning. My name is Alphonse Keesley. I'm in the Office of Diversity, Equity, and Community Engagement, and I am one of the members of our Diversity Inclusion Planning Committee who helps to put on this particular event each year. This is our 25th year of putting on, this is continuous. Each year we've done this Diversity Inclusion Summit, and we're very proud of the fact that we've been able to do this along with our Equity and Excellence celebration also, which began even earlier than this event. There are several people who are a part of helping to make this event come about, and I'd like to ask them to stand so that we can acknowledge them as being a part of the planning committee. And they include, if they're here, please stand, Elena Beaver, Beatrice Steiner, Connie North, Deborah Prestiani, Galen van der Newell, George Huey, Hillary Campbell, our colleague and stalwart from the city, Jen Korbelik, John Leslie, Kellen Story, our MC for today, Leisha Connors-Bauer, Mark Werner, Medford Moorer, Nola Salisbury, the extraordinary one, who makes sure that all of these elements of this event come together for us. So if you wouldn't mind, we'd like to acknowledge her a little separately, if you wouldn't mind. And Sandra Sawaya. This committee has, in fact, tried to work on a continuous theme. We're calling it Building the Roadmap. And just to give you a brief history about why we have that as a part of this event, we started looking at the fact that in 2003, retired Supreme Court Justice Sandra Day O'Connor said that in 25 years, she had hoped that things would have changed with regard to diversity inclusion, but at the time of the ruling, she thought that it was important. So 25 years from 2003 would have made it 2028. We also had our 2030 plan, which we thought was also a very important way. So going from the national level to our campus level to make sure that we're consistent in trying to reach the goal of building diversity inclusion at the University of Colorado. Thus our theme of building the roadmap. Each year, the committee has looked at a particular aspect that we think is important that we pay attention to. And we oftentimes want to make sure that we're taking stock. We're taking stock about how well are we doing with this particular event. And so this is where the colonized portion came in, right after the colon, of finding our way. To be quite honest, it was sort of an interesting way in which this theme came up and then took on its seriousness. We had a visitor from the city who was joining Jen, and she had been watching the film Moana the night before. And as we were discussing this in our meeting, she thought this idea of finding our way might be something that would be useful for us. That's what we're seeking to do with this particular summit, to work on finding our way towards continuing to build the roadmap. We are taking it very seriously. I will readily admit publicly, when the committee started talking about this particular theme, I was a bit nervous because we're asking ourselves to really take a hard look at who we are. The way we've discussed it in the committee is that we recognize that we've been working at a lot of things. And there's also an amazing website. I don't know if John is going to give me permission to tell you about this right now, but we do a lot of things on campus related to diversity and inclusion. But we were wondering, are we getting what we want from all of these activities? And so that's what this particular Finding Our Way sub theme is trying to get at. So that's the summit and what it is to be here right now. But one other thing that I want to mention that's important. As you know, well, I hope you know, the campus is really embarking upon understanding ourselves as we move forward 30 years out, similar to the ways in which our committee was trying to work on working towards 2030. During all of the sessions, we've asked our room monitors to pay attention to information related to the academic futures initiative that we're working on. So we will have people who will be taking notes on their own to figure out if this is something that should be forwarded to the Academic Futures Committee. And if you haven't already participated in that particular part of the campus's work, please do. I know that the provost and chancellor and CFO are very interested in getting input from all sectors of campus. So that's going to be another important part of this event this year. And lastly, just to sort of prime what we're going to be doing in February for the one-day portion of the summit, we hope to have sessions that will be done in Spanish and at a very ungodly hour for some of us, of starting the event at 8 o'clock in the morning for people who start their workday here at CU Boulder at 4:30 in the morning. So we're hoping to do something that will acknowledge our campus workers and colleagues who have a really early start. So if you can join us for that particular event in February, we greatly appreciate it. I'm sort of challenging the committee because we said we were going to do it, and I want to make sure that we do. Without further ado now, I'd like to get us on with our program and bring up a long time colleague who has been engaged, I won't embarrass you, who's been engaged in a lot of the activities that we've done on campus related to diversity and inclusion. And that is the Director of Health Promotion, I have to make sure I said that correctly, Health Promotion, Leisha Connors-Bauer.
Thank you, Alphonse. He said he wouldn't embarrass me, and I think it would have worked if he had maybe one less long in his introduction. So as Alphonse mentioned, I'm Leisha Connors-Bauer, Director of Health Promotion. And I would like to invite our next panelists to come up to the stage and take a seat, and that would be Chancellor DiStefano, Boulder City Manager Jane Brautigam, and CUSG President Betsy Sabala. As they're coming up to the stage, I just had a few words that I wanted to share with you all. First, we recognize that we don't have all of the voices present in the room today. And part of finding our way is looking at how do we create space for to have all of the voices at the table. And so to us, as we've gone through the planning committee, that's something that we felt was really important. So how do we do that? One of the ways that we do that is by doing as much as we can, as best as we can. And Alphonse mentioned this in terms of his Plan 2030 piece. We're doing a lot, and if what we're doing isn't working, then we need to ask ourselves, what should we be doing differently? Or how could we be doing something differently? And really taking a look at that. And to me, that's also part of finding our way. So as individuals and members of this community, we each have a contribution to make in terms of finding our way. And you may ask yourself, well, what can I do? I'm just one person. There are a lot of things that you can do, and we've intentionally created this summit to help create those opportunities for you today and tomorrow and beyond. Some of the things that may help you as you go through this is to participate in the different sessions. Even if there's something that you never thought you'd be interested in, take a chance, participate in that session. Explore what you want to get out of this summit. Ask questions and be mindful of what you're hearing. The other piece related to that is at times the conversation may make you feel uncomfortable. We ask you to be comfortable in your discomfort because sometimes that's the only way that we can grow and we can learn. So without further ado, I'd like to go ahead and introduce our first speaker, Chancellor Phil DiStefano.
Thank you, Leisha. Thank you, Leisha, and good morning to everyone. So pleased that you could be here this morning to help us kick off the Diversity and Inclusion Summit. And I'm very pleased that this summit is in partnership with the City of Boulder, and I want to thank Jane for taking her time out of her busy schedule, to meet with us. As a first-generation college student growing up in the Rust Belt of Ohio, I know both the challenges and the opportunities that other first-generation college students face. By being a part of an inclusive community that values diversity and respect for all students, the challenges actually diminish and the opportunities increase. And growing up in a diverse community that welcomed and respected all allowed me to be successful. I carried this experience with me as I navigated through undergraduate and graduate education to pursue a career in education that led to me being the chancellor of this great university. And achieving a diverse and inclusive community is vital to our campus imperatives of creating tomorrow's leaders, being the top university for innovation, and most importantly, for impacting humanity. It's our moral imperative and critical to the success of our campus to honor diversity and inclusivity in all forms: race and gender, sexual orientation, disabilities, religious preferences, socioeconomic status, age, intellectual, political, or geographic diversity. Everyone, students, faculty, staff, visitors, and members of our Boulder community should feel engaged, valued, and supported. We know that social climate here on the campus and in the broader community is foundational to the success of our students. We want everyone to thrive and reach their full potential at CU Boulder. Our goal for creating an inclusive campus is supported by the Colorado Creed, which our students gave us 14 years ago. The Creed calls for respecting the rights of others, celebrating our differences, and contributing to the greater good of our community. The Colorado Creed is posted in high-profile public places on campus, including, of course, this building. It reminds us that the dialogue we are having over the next 2 days should not be limited to an annual or a biannual event summit. It should be part of our daily conversations. Given the events that our country has experienced in recent weeks and actually in days and months, the Colorado Creed is more important than ever. Sharing and learning from people from diverse backgrounds and perspectives makes us all richer, smarter, and better citizens of the world. Seeking a diverse perspective should be woven into our fiber as a higher education institution. An inclusive campus and society, rich in diversity, is also critical to creativity and innovation. If people from only one perspective design a product, a process, or a class, many of us will find that our needs are not addressed. Including people from many backgrounds and perspectives creates a well-rounded result. At 10 a.m. tomorrow, there is a session on the importance of diversity and inclusivity to innovation. And I believe everyone here believes in the value of a diverse and inclusive campus and society. But how do we as individuals make a difference? Well, we are all connected as members of the campus and the Boulder community. We are each a product of our own individual culture and personal background. Sharing